And we're back with Richard Reviews. Today we are reviewing a book for richardreviews.com/Griffin Chestnut here on YouTube. Today's book Richard will be reviewing for us is titled The Consolation of Philosophy by Boethius. This is, of course, one of Richard's most anticipated pieces that he was able to review, and he did a very good job doing so up until the day he read this book. Richard obtained this book in 2014, and he completed reading it in that same year of 2014. He did most of his reading that year of 2014, and this book, The Consolation of Philosophy, was no exception. He was introduced to this book by his private contractor, he did a lot of work through in the outdoor Adirondack Valley, which was a notable change to his usual transferring method. He found a lot of meaning in this piece, mainly through its continental divide references, which can be attributed to its massive, intelligent backstory. He thought that the climax was attributed basically to the metaphor between life and death. And of course, if you're familiar with this piece, you might already know that it was heavily referenced to in the book A Confederacy of Dunces by John Toole, who of course came up with the idea of the Ignatius Riley character, who was play on words in the New Orleans area. Now, this is Richard's piece, so we won't get into all the backstory in terms of the creamy nature, the dialectic language, the system of organisms that play against the fuel, and of course the acrylic politics between left and right, and the affected existentialism which is alienated between two secular notions. This piece we have in front of us is in correct condition and is aligned perfectly with the dimensional stars that bring into the acrylic formidable, which shine directly into the sun of this piece. This was a feminist book that started a long-term open freedom favor, which was about a relationship started with the author when he was caught sleeping around, and he read this brilliant masterpiece titled Celine's Journey to the Center of the School Bus, and it was the journey to the end of the night. It was, of course, an anti-establishment book that was profoundly beautiful, and it was around the year 1988, which he was the father of Germany, to study under Edmund himself. So we have that to thank you for. The Consolation of Philosophy. We're going to take a look at this piece. This is Richard's piece, so we have to take good care of it. He keeps it in very good condition, but as you can tell, it did stand the test of time. Richard is here, and he is reviewing the full piece from side to side, and it's got its full correction, condition, compaction. Now, as we squeeze the nipple on the side, we can actually pick the piece up and lift it up and shake it. Now, that's what we're going to do with this, and this is Richard's own piece. It's in very good condition. The shine is magnificent. Richard keeps his pieces, nonetheless, the beauty of these shines. It is a short piece, not the longest, but it is a rather large piece, as you can tell. We're going to get into the weight class of it and how much it actually does weigh once put on the Richter scale that Richard has bought off of eBay in 1998. We're going to get a correction facility on this individual and the actual history behind it. Now, as we take a look at the dimensions, you can tell it's a copyright of the actual standard procedure. So you know this is the right one. And it's not just to say who's going there and he's going there. This is the standard procedure, and it goes from the copyright. Boom, 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 left, left, round, round, side, side, and then pushed all the way up with a brown spot. The brown spot does not finish the correct way, but it ultimately finishes the right way. So we take a look at this piece. It's got great cream on the side, great cream on this side. And we do have something written here. Looks like this says something about North Central Regional Library. Okay, this is probably where the piece was located, in an underground room where Richard was able to pay for its ownership, which he ultimately did. Now on the side, we even have the Consolation of Philosophy, Dover, Boethius. Brilliant. And on the back, we have some more of the pieces, which really bring it into this masterful individual art, which constitutes German soldiers and German generals. Now, this piece doesn't only have German soldiers, but it also has German generals. A general of an individual, a general of a squarely blame outbreak, and a general of a drafted individual. This is the general which is generated by the geriding geromoscope, which can generally be glued to the Jerusalem Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, this is all from Ignatius Reilly. Ignatius Reilly claimed that this was the masterpiece, the magnum opus of the conglomerate. You need to write this and you need to marry your wife. On the top here, you can tell there is some brim wall. This looks like a low-key version of a crystallized fabrication of the scratch identification cards, which were given out in the 1960s in the public libraries on the eastern coast of Bermuda. And here is the genre: philosophy, history, and surveys. And of course, this is translated by Richard Green. Down here, we do have a price along with a website that leads to nothing. And the price, of course, is $8.95 in US, printed in the USA. A brilliant, brilliant notion for this brilliant, brilliant price. In a quite literal sense, Richard has done a proactive job in paying less than $20 for all these pieces, which he forms into his acrylic collection of books throughout the years, which are celebrated on the internet by many people. And you can nonetheless find the reason why right there. As we take a look inside, we do have some more brim wall on the bottom. This is not a formidable notion of this piece. In fact, it is not respectful that intellectuals that picked this piece up ultimately laid their hand on it and created some sort of a form of ink, maybe a diary milky form of dew. This can be discussed later, but there's really not much Richard can do about that. It's a dried up paste with a milky dew to it, and its milk does not rhyme well with the rest of the piece, as you can tell. It's even seeping a little bit through here. It seeps, and even a little over here. It's glued down and it's crinkled a little bit, but not too bad where it's actually affecting the read. As you get into the rest of it here, we can really navigate through the text and the files that he was able to put into this piece, which he showed to his forefathers before navigating the bathing suit, which he had to wear during the time of his 14th birthday. A beautiful piece, and of course an index that is also in English thanks to the translator and the fundamental revolutionaries such as Fidel Castro, who did some great work when he traveled to Cuba and started the revolution that ultimately led to more of the dominance towards Americans in that time period. Beautiful piece, beautiful work. Nothing but good things to say about A Consolation of Philosophy. Richard is a huge fan. 2 thumbs up, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Kringle fingers, and pull the horn, because this one will take you for a ride in the saddle car, and you'll be swimming and really crying out great. So it's political, it's cultural, it's debacle, it's disgusting, and it's a little constipation with the imperialism influence everyone. in the Paris, France region that this was created. So we have Boethius to thank for that. And this is Richard's review for The Consolation of Philosophy by Boethius. Once again, Richard's review, father of individual freedom, Richard review, The Consolation of Philosophy. Thank you.